Hello, 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 and welcome. My name is Jalia Pettis, and I am going to be your instructor over the next few weeks. If you are here for the class entitled Complimentary, a hair and makeup class, you are in the right space, okay? So we got some things planned for you over the next couple of weeks. I'm going to keep it very real, very raw, because I feel like being authentic is going to help you learn in the best way possible. Now, first and foremost, I will say that we do have our HillmanTok group for those that have Q&A, but if you're watching this and you're not a part of HillmanTok, definitely feel free to shoot me a question if you have one, okay? All right, so a little bit about me. Hopefully you guys have taken the time to kind of research who your instructor is, but a little bit about me. I've been in the beauty industry now for about 18 years. This is a second career for me. Before this, I worked in corporate America for over 20 years. So I consider myself a perfect mix of beauty and brains. I'm dually licensed, both as an esthetician and a hairstylist. I primarily work on set, so that means I do hair and makeup for commercials, TV, film, editorial, and I do tons of educating as well. I love to educate. I don't know why, which is crazy because I never thought that I would be doing this, but I educate everybody from consumers to individuals that are actually in the industry at all levels and stages in their careers. I've had people that are still in beauty school, and I've had women in their 80s that have been in the industry for over 40 years attend some of my classes. So it is tried and true. All right, y'all ready to jump into it? Let's get into it. All right, so this first week is about face shapes. Now, when we're talking, and I'm going to be looking down just so you guys know, because I'm a note taker. I have my notes in front of me. So I want us to first identify the varying face shapes, and then also kind of find out what you feel like is going to work best for you and your face shape. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that, okay? So how many of y'all know what your face shape is? Do you know? Have you looked at yourself in the mirror recently? So I know with age, my face shape has changed. I used to have an oval face shape, whereas now I have more of a round face. I have not pulled away from the snacks, and I'm not working out as much as I used to. So that has contributed to my face shape changing on top of just aging. And every day that we live, we age. So I'm not a girly that is doing any enhancements. You know, for those of you that are, that's your business. But we're talking about face shapes that are going to help you to kind of craft a look that best suits you. All right. So first and foremost, oval. When we say oval, that is going to be the ideal face shape. Okay. And the way that you can kind of think about it is it can be evenly distributed into thirds. That means everything is balanced and symmetrical. So in any type of look that you might be building, you will find balance in that look. So whatever other face shape you might have, the thought process is to carve out your face so that it is as close to an oval shape as possible. And I know y'all are like, wait, what? Carve out my face? What does that mean? I'll talk about that a little bit more. Okay. So now I mentioned that my face shape now is round, which means it's a circle, you know, it's a circle. I have wider parts here and I have wider parts here. Whereas as an oval, you know, it's more slender on the outer portions. Okay. So the forehead isn't as wide. And baby, I got blessed with a whole lot of forehead. Okay. So I'm more round. Okay. Now, when we say oblong, that means an oval face shape, but a long. So it's like, it kind of looks like that, if that makes sense. Not as wide here, but it's literally longer. And then when we think of a square shape face, it's going to have more angles to it. Like you'll literally see more defined angles to the actual face. The jawline is a lot more chiseled and prominent for somebody that has a square shaped face. Like you'll literally feel like you can look at them and see those points. And then somebody that is heart shaped, normally somebody that has a heart shaped face. So it's literally like this. So their chin is going to be more pointy in this area. There'll be thinner here, and then it'll widen as it goes around. And then it kind of comes right into a point there. A lot of times you can identify that because that individual has that widow's peak there. They have that little portion right in their hairline. And then there is the diamond shaped face. So we have the angles here and here. So that means this area is more prominent. This is smaller and this is smaller. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay. So I want to give some references that might be a little bit more helpful as far as who can I identify that would help me kind of make this make sense. So let's think about some celebs because that'll help kind of give you a framework. So when we think about a diamond face shape, that would be someone more like Jennifer Lopez. Okay. Now, when we're thinking about the oblong, that means that long oval, that would be someone like Iman. For those of you that don't know who Iman is, she is the founder of Iman Cosmetics. She was a supermodel back in the day. She was married to David Bowie. Black don't crack. She looks amazing. She has a very oblong face. Heart-shaped face would be Kerry Washington. Kerry Washington has a heart-shaped face. Round face would be someone like Jill Scott and me. Okay. So really full cheeks. That's another identifier. So just a lot more curve in the entire face. Someone that has more of a square shaped face. What is her name? She is an actress that was in Charlie's Angels. Lucy Liu. That's her name. Lucy Liu. Lucy Liu has a square shaped face. So you can see a lot more angles in her face. And then oval would be Kelly Rowland. Kelly Rowland, like any look that you put on her is fly. And that comes down to having that balance and that symmetry. No matter what, her face is like literally evenly distributed into thirds. Okay. I hope that helps y'all a little bit. So that's the way to best identify the shape. Okay. And you might notice, like when we're talking about like carving things out, when you are using certain products, you want to kind of create your face shape to look more oval because that is the ideal face shape. So how do you do that? Okay. So I'll give you an example on myself. So with me having a round face, the areas that I'm going to try to diminish the light are going to be here because I don't want it to be as round here and then here. So like when I'm speaking, I can see that I got a little extra something going around here, right? So what I do is if you see this pencil and I have the lights, you can see the shadow. You can see literally the shadow hitting it right underneath. That is where you put your quote unquote contour. Okay. Same thing with this. You see it here, and a rule of thumb is feel for that bone. Okay. Where that bone stops, mine stops here. That's where your contour should stop. So from here to here, right underneath that jawbone. Okay. And then when we're talking about somebody that has 5 head, like me, 5 head means you can fit all 5 of your fingers on your forehead. Then you want to really concentrate that contour in this portion of the face. That way it shrinks some of your forehead and gives you more of that oval shape. Okay. So when we're hearing terms highlight and contour, it's really based on the light. Okay. Contour means to diminish. Highlight means to accentuate. Think of it in those terms, okay? So we're trying to diminish some of that roundness and create a shadow here and here so that we don't see this extra. We don't want to see that, right? So we're going to give the illusion that it's not there by doing what? Creating that shadow. Look at, I literally have the light on the side of my face so you can see right where it's hidden. And that's where I hid it. Okay. So when I say carve out, that's what you're doing. You're placing that product there. You're placing that product there. You're placing that product there, and you're buffing it out, or you're carving it out to give that illusion of that oval shape. When we're talking about highlighting, that means that's an area that you want to accentuate. So you're putting lighter products in those areas, whereas with contour, you're putting darker products in those areas, okay? And look, you don't have to go out and buy a contour shade, a highlight shade. You really don't, unless you're just a hoarder and loves to buy products, okay? You can truly use things that you have to build the look that or the shape that you're going for, okay? I know for me, one thing that I feel like has become really popular on social media, but it's something that I've been doing forever, is when I'm putting on my concealer and my foundation, I'm already carving out the shapes of my face that I want to see once my makeup is done. I have really dark circles underneath my eyes, okay? They are, and I got them covered up today, but they are partially hereditary and partially because I am somebody that is just always rubbed my eyes, which means I'm breaking all of the capillaries up underneath there and causing that blood to pool underneath, and that's contributing to the darkness underneath my eyes, okay? I know everybody and their mama's like, oh, you can use this to get rid of dark circles, and you can use this, but like, in all honesty, once it's there, it's locked in, okay? Because there's nowhere else for it to go. My mother has dark circles. My aunt has dark circles. I have 3 children, two adult boys and 1 teen that thinks she's an adult, and I'm already starting to see it slightly in them, especially like when they get tired. I can really start to see some of that darkness poke through. So I'm doing things for them and having them do things, so as far as like their skincare, so that they can take care of their skin, so that they don't rub underneath their eyes, because that will really contribute to the darkness really getting worse, okay? As we're going through these courses, we'll talk about different products and things of that nature, but I really wanted to start at the fundamentals and just kind of really kind of lock in face shapes first, so we know what we're building towards, okay? So your homework is going to be, I want you to tell me what your face shape is, what you feel like it is, and I want you to tell me one tip that you are going to utilize in sculpting or carving out. Like, tell me how you're going to carve it out in order to get the shape that you want, okay? Now, let me say this. If you're good with what your face shape is, then be good with it. If you're not trying to make it something different for an illusion, that's fine as well. But at least, at the very least, tell me what your face shape is, okay? So next week, we are going to talk about brows and balance and things of that nature. And then we'll just keep kind of plugging away. But I want this to be an open forum for you guys to ask questions. But just pay attention to what we have broken down for each week in the syllabus, and we'll go from there, okay? Thank you guys so much for joining me today, and I hope to see you next time. Have a great day.